welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. Okay, so I always say use a professional. If you don't, it's going to cost you 5 times more in money and 10 times more in frustration. And I think about my days back up north, and people would then travel, and if it was the winter and you didn't winterize your property, what would happen is a pipe would break. You'd come back a month later, or 3 weeks later, or a week later, and your house would be flooded, and you would never know it. Well, about 20 years ago, they kind of got into this thing with people going and checking on houses. It's now it's out there all over. And to find a professional who's certified is the key. Sitting next to me is Douglas Baer, right?
Hi, Wayne.
How are you? And
Good.
it's Owl Home Watch.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's say this first. What is Owl Home Watch?
Well, home watch itself, the National Home Watch Association defines it as a visual inspection of a home or property looking for obvious issues. So that's how the Home Watch Association defines it.
So it's not, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not really an inspection. It's, for lack of a better word, a protection.
You're checking everything.
Okay, so I go away, okay, and you come by and you just make sure that no one broke in, you make sure there's no leaks, okay, and if there's a leak, you take it upon yourself to call a plumber and make sure everything is good.
Right. We can refer a plumber to the owner, and they hire the plumber. It happened to me, actually.
Okay, which leads me into, you said it happened to you. Is that why you got into this?
Partly. We bought the home last year in August, and I was nervous. I had to finish up my other job up north, and I was nervous about the house being empty. So one of my coworkers, Susan, mentioned home watch. Said, "Oh, what's that?" So she explained it, and blah blah blah. So I eventually decided, to definitely call one, and I did, and I had my first inspection. And I was going back down in 3 weeks, so I'm like, oh, I'll just, it's only 3 weeks. So, I got a phone call a week later, 2 weeks later actually, from a neighbor that didn't even know me. They just found out my phone number from the city, town hall or something. And he said that water was running out in my garage for 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
So I had 2 weeks of water coming out the garage. So a pipe had burst under my garage floor, and I called my home watch person, and she had a plumber there the next morning and fixed it.
So I decided to go away, and
Yeah.
I hire you guys.
hmm
How do I hire you? Meaning, do I hire you to pass by every day, once a week?
Well, we meet. I explain the whole process and what's involved. They sign, an agreement. We go in every week or every 2 weeks.
Okay, unless there's an emergency.
Yeah, unless there's an emergency. And
Okay.
there's many things we do other than just do the home watch itself.
Such as?
We do concierge service. I do pre and post hurricane service. Literally anything they need to be done. If they leave, say they just took off to go up north and they left something, in the house and they really want it, I'll take it, mail it to them, go to the post office. We check on other services. We make sure the pool guy is doing his work. We make sure the landscape is doing his work. We make sure the bug guy is spraying. And that's another thing that happened to me. I had to let my pool guy go because for a 3-week period, and then I found out for the month itself, he went once.
Oh my God.
And he's supposed to go every week.
Right. I
And
had
this
a pool,
is
so I get
some of the stories you're going to hear from Snowbirds, which is a main clientele.
Right.
That happens to them. They say, "Oh, they're not there." So
So let's go through the process.
I'm not saying they all do. I'm
No,
not
no, no,
saying
no, no,
anything.
no, no. We know that.
But
Let's
it
go
happened
through
to
the
me.
process.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on vacation.
Yes.
I call you. What's the next step?
We talk about it, and I make an appointment. I like to be in person, so I can review everything, my certification, all my stuff with the National Home Watch Association. All my criteria that I can back myself up as a professional and someone that they can trust. I'm going into their home.
Right.
So,
Okay, but you're going to go over that stuff. What are you going to tell me? Like, what do I need to know as a homeowner when I hire you guys?
well, I go over everything we're going to do. It's a complete check inside and out of the home. We start on the outside. I mean, you check for screens that have been cut or vandalized, the pool enclosure screens if they've been cut. Then you're going to get insect infestations. We check for rodents. The water main should be turned off. I don't know, maybe the landscaper will come by and he wants some water out of the thing and he'll turn it on and then forget to turn it back
Yeah.
off. So that can happen. There's many other things we check, and then the main things inside, the water heater, the AC system. I mean, in the summer when we lose power, if you lose your power, your breaker trips, and your AC isn't going on, you basically have 3 days before mold starts,
Wow.
and that's if it's 55% humidity and above, and we know that is true. It's above
Yeah.
in the summer.
It's way above.
Yeah, so stuff can happen. So I also found the previous homeowner had left a piece of plywood in the garage, up against the sheetrock, and one time I just went to rearrange some stuff in the garage. I moved the plywood, black mold.
Oh, wow.
So I cleaned that up, but I have all the equipment. I have the respirator and the gloves. You have to. Those spores are floating around the garage. You don't know it, you can't see it, but they are.
Well, the thing that you said, one of the things you said that interests me is we are in the hurricane capital of the world,
Yes.
and you do an inspection before hurricane season and then one after?
So we go to the house before the hurricane. When a hurricane is named, which is usually around 5 days before, we call every client and we ask them if they're in or out, meaning do they want us to take care of their home. We can only take so many.
Right.
So if you want in, you're in. If it's a Cat 4 coming and it goes to a Cat 1, you can't call up and say, oh, we want
Right.
to cancel, because we've already put your protection up. Closed the accordion shutters, installed the protection from the garage, and so we don't have much time. So,
No. Look, I've been living
Yeah.
in Florida for over 30 years. For us, what we do sometimes is people will call us prior to hurricane season, maybe a month or 3 weeks before, and we'll drone the house
Mm-hmm.
with a date and time stamp.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll drone it after hurricane season.
Right.
So if something happens, they can take this video to the insurance company.
Yeah, we have to make sure that all the lawn furniture is secure in the garage, the grills, tied down to something or
Right.
put in the garage, the gutters are cleaned. Tree branches, large tree branches are near the house, but there's no time to cut those. But that's something that could be damaged. They could be damaged afterwards because those branches could have hit the house during the storm. So
We come to a time where the snowbirds go back home,
yeah,
and which is usually in the summer.
Mhm.
But it doesn't change the fact that emergencies, for lack of a better word, happen
Yeah.
365 days a year.
Exactly.
Okay? It's like, what do I do? And the worst thing is to be away and something go wrong.
Mhm.
What do? And you sit there being frustrated and nervous
Mhm.
about what you're going to come home to.
Right.
And back in the day,
It's all about peace of mind.
Yeah. So, what's the value of having that peace of mind? Is really how I look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you said that you can only do so many during hurricane season. Is it that you can only do so many, or is it depending on how much time they give you?
Well, we can't not give them the service if we say we're going to do it.
Right.
So we're not going to go overage and say, oh, maybe we can get these guys in too. No, you can't do that. So we just want the people that really want their house protected. I mean, there's a laundry list, a one-sheet, full-page list of what they need to do before they leave for the summer.
Right.
What they should do. And the biggest thing is to turn off your water main.
So, I hire you. You give me a list of things that need to do. I call you and say I'm going away, Do you go to the house and check that all the things that
If they want me to take care of the list or most of the list, I do that. That's concierge service.
Okay. Do you go there and check to see that the stuff is done, or it's incumbent upon them to get it done?
Well, if I'm doing my regular checks, I'll check and see when I do my check. But as long as they, it's a big list. I mean, stuff like unplug all your TVs, computers, and we're gonna lose power maybe.
Okay. You use the word maybe, but we know what the truth
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
This is Florida. There's
Yeah.
no babies here.
Yeah.
It's
And
when.
it seems to be
Okay.
getting worse. I mean, now we're dealing with tornadoes. It used to be just a hurricane.
Right. And I remember we just had a year ago, basically,
Yeah.
the tornadoes. And the tornadoes came before the hurricane. So by the time the tornadoes were over, the hurricane hadn't even been here yet. And people were like, yeah, whatever, with the hurricane. Because they
Yeah.
just got through a ton of tornadoes. And that, in my whole time living here, that doesn't happen. And if you're not around and that tornado comes by, you're going to want somebody to go by your house and make sure
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still there.
That's the other thing. After a storm or hurricane or tornado, it's important to check the house quick. But you can't rely on your friends to check. They're taking care of their damage to their
Right.
house. But you can alleviate some serious water damage if you can get there and get the top on that roof until the insurance company can get there, and the roofer, they can hire a roofer and get there. We can cut down drastically on the damage.
So I'm away and there's a hurricane. After the hurricane, do you go by all the properties
Oh, yeah.
just to make sure
Yes.
everything is
Pre
safe
and post.
Okay. It's interesting because, and I say this, people will spend $200 to go to dinner
Yeah.
and not care that a hurricane might come and destroy their house. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that not taking care or having someone who does home watch, okay, come by can cost them tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay? I
Yeah.
mean, it's very costly nowadays to do anything.
Labor's, yeah.
And over and
Very high.
above that, once we have a hurricane, if there's damage, you're not the only one who has damage. So all the people who have damage, they're all looking for roofing stuff to be done.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's a time segment in here that if you have someone doing home watch, they're going to go and look. Instead of a hurricane coming, and like you said, you call your neighbor, hey, can you go by and look at my house? Your neighbor's going to look at his house first.
Absolutely.
And go
And his family's homes.
Right, and everybody in his family. You're right. I totally get that. When you started the company,
Yeah.
did you have family support?
Oh, yeah. And my former employees also, that I was going to do this.
Really?
Yeah, because I was really gung-ho on it, and real excited about it. So,
Okay, so two questions because we're going to run out of time. How'd you get the name Owl?
well, I thought of it. I had another name, and then I'm just thinking one day, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I want something with an animal. People love animals.
Right. People do love animals.
What has a keen eye? What has, good eyesight? Check things well. So owl obviously matches that too.
And it was short.
Yeah, it's a short word, so
Right.
people remember it. And I actually came up with the logo myself too.
Well, the logo is an owl, and it looks
Yeah.
really good.
And then the
Okay,
owl,
and
then the magnifying glass. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I totally get that. Lastly, anybody can say, hey, I can check your house, but you have certification?
Well, the National Home Watch Association puts you through a pretty strict regiment to be a part of the association. The first thing you do is they do a criminal background check on you. And then if you pass that, they move on with everything. You have to get your insurance. You have to be bonded. You have to go through this testing they have, some learning, some videos.
If you start at May 1st, how long does it take to get certified?
Well, certification is a 2-day boot camp process where it's the whole day. For each day, you actually go out and do a home watch with the trainer. So I got that certification right after my accreditation.
Wow.
You can do it when you want, but
Right.
I actually did them both.
Well, you wanted to get started, I
Yeah.
guess. I guess
Well,
you
yeah.
wanted to
Some
get
people
started.
wait. Some people wait.
Yeah, okay. Waiting is really not the answer when you're starting a business. Okay. I mean, I started this over 30 years ago, and it didn't exist. This industry didn't exist. There were no cell phones with cameras.
Yeah.
What I got was, don't be stupid, get a real job. It's a pipe dream. And what I've learned is, stay on task
Hmm.
and don't let things drag out.
Right.
So you wanted to get your certification, you stayed on task,
Hmm.
and you got it done pretty quick. How do people find you? You have a website?
Oh yeah.
Which is?
Owlhomewatch.com.
Okay, and a phone number? Do you know it by heart?
Yeah, 772
Okay.
206 2204.
You know, I say that because so many people don't have to remember their own number because they don't call their own number.
Yeah, sometimes you don't.
So, I totally get it. Everybody
Even
going.
your kids' numbers because you did speed dial.
Yeah, because we became a lazy society.
Yeah, well,
Everybody, I told you before, it's so important to use a professional. In this case, someone with a certification, somebody who accredited, insured, bonded. These things are just important. We talk about it in my industry here. Um, Everybody and their mother and child got a drone for Christmas one year, and they don't realize that you really need to be licensed to fly a drone commercially. Deal with professionals, okay? You're going to get your best results, and if you think it's costing you more, wait till something happens.
Yeah.
Everybody, our home watch. Doug, thank you so much for coming in.
thank you for having me.
Everybody will be right back.